I'm back with another review, and this time it is GoBots by Tom Scioli. This was published by IDW. If you don't know of any of his other work, he's done Fantastic Four Grand Design. He did a very well thought of Transformers G.I. Joe crossover. He has a very distinctive style. He is the writer and artist of this book. The style is a very old school comic book that was part of the appeal to me. It is printed in such a way that looks like it's on yellowed comic book pages, and it's the storytelling, and I'm talking like old school comic book storytelling where you had very dense pages with lots of panels. Dialogue could overwhelm the artwork. It was interesting to read this story because I haven't really read much of GoBot's fiction. I didn't really know what kind of backstory they had even. This was new to me, and what was interesting about it, what I found out kind of after the fact, is this is a story that Tom Scioli has been wanting to write for like 20 years or something. And you can kind of feel that here. There's a lot packed in, there's a lot of concepts packed in a relatively short graphic novel. And I think that's probably to its detriment. There are times when it can feel kind of scattered. The dialogue is sort of quick and dirty and just kind of gets the job done. And you can feel like there's these big concepts, very kind of almost, I want to say almost fan fiction concepts with some of the stuff that's done here that isn't necessarily supported by the story itself. So this I've heard so many good things about his work, and I definitely want to check out some of the other stuff. I don't know if this is the best example of it. I think if there had been another issue or two, I feel like maybe we could have gotten a little more of what I wanted out of the story. Because there is some interesting stuff. He plays with these toys. It's pretty much a blank canvas. You can kind of tell that Turbo was his favorite toy. And that was kind of mine too, because he sort of takes center stage over Leader One. Leader One, if you're a Leader One fan for some reason, you may not like this book very much. But I think it's interesting because they are pretty much of a blank slate. Like the number of people who have an opinion about a GoBot is probably very low. So I think it's a great opportunity to take them and put them in an interesting direction. I was a little disappointed by the ending, which I will not spoil, but it is to me very, very fan fiction. I kind of appreciate what they were going for, and yes, it's kind of fun, but also I feel like it kind of does GoBots a disservice. Like if you go into this being a big GoBots fan, I don't know if you're going to love it. Maybe you just love it that anything is being done with them because GoBots is owned by Hasbro now and has basically been subsumed into Transformers. Like there is very little that you will ever see in the way of GoBots branded stuff. Like this is one of the few books, and I don't even know how this made it out, to be honest. So if you have like some little splinter of nostalgia for GoBots, I think it's worth a read. I think if you are just looking to have a little bit of fun with some 80s nostalgia, I think that's great. Otherwise, I think for most people, the story on its own is okay. It's just not given enough space to develop, but it was still a fun read.